welcome back to the Motorgraph World channel. My name is Mari, and once again we're back with the 4th generation Tucson. And sure, a lot of you were very curious about what has changed with the 4th generation after its initial launch on the 15th, but we weren't able to see it in person until today. So today, let's take a look at what's changed. From first glance, so much has changed with the 4th generation. Their total design motto is sensuous sportiness. So I guess what they're saying is it's not just sporty, it's a little bit of that sensuality along with the design. But if you look at the grille, a lot has changed to the face. They have what is called the parametric jewel design grille. And then you also have the parametric jewel hidden daylight running lamps. These, in fact, at first glance, look as if they're part of the grille, but then once you turn on the lamps, you see that they were actually, in fact, lamps and not part of the grille. So these were the major changes to put to the front. Now let's go over to the side profile, which also has a lot of changes. If you look at the overall profile and the lines, they've done so many changes to it. You see very different character lines going through. Personally, not a fan. I kind of thought it looked a little bit like the Lexus. Those who are a fan of the Lexus might actually like this design, but for me, it's not really working. Tell us what you actually think about the character lines. For me, it's a bit messy, but I'll leave it at that. So you can see that the car has become longer. The total car has become longer, but also the wheelbase as well. If you just look at the wheelbase, it's become longer by 85 millimeters compared to the previous generation. If you look at the wheels, I want to point out that there's a little bit of a difference. Before, we used to have a 245, 45, 19-inch wheels. The Santa Fe has wider wheels with a 255, but the Tucson has become narrower with 235. We'll have to see what those differences make on the road. If you consider that it's a revamp of the entire model after 5 years, you do expect a big change in the design. You also have the parametric, once again, that word that comes up with the triangles here. I'm not sure what they intended with the word parametric, but they've been using it all on their lamps, whether it's a tail lamp, the daylight running lamp, or their grille. So I guess that it's a design aesthetic that they're pushing for. Remember the Santa Fe, in which the exhaust pipes were hidden? The same goes for the Tucson. You don't actually see it when you're driving on the road. You do see it if you crouch down and look underneath it, but you don't see it at a glance. Also, up here with the window blades, they're also hidden up here. So now we're in front of a different color car with the trunk already open and set for night outside. You can actually do this with the new Tucson because it has a very spacious trunk. I really wanted to show you this because, in fact, the trunk of it is really big and I really do like it. It has the 12-volt outlet, and it's also a very good convenience feature here. But what I really liked about it, also Hyundai really emphasized this part, is that their trunk is super flat. See, so this model actually has a mattress that is built into the trunk of the car. And it actually looks very comfortable and cozy, almost like your own bed or your camping car. So you can really style it up or do whatever you want with it because you have so much more room. See how they have fold and dive function of the second row seats? It gives you a lot more space. First of all, with the driver's seat, you have much more visibility up front because you don't have the housing up here and you only have the digital cluster. Even now, I don't really have any problems without the housing on top. I just like it much better because it's just cleaner with a cleaner surface. And as for the materials that they used inside, here it's polyurethane that they've used. The steering wheel is a soft leather. I do like the seats too, because the seat detailing, you have a little bit of the check pattern up on top. For some reason, it kind of gives me a little bit of a British look. In terms of the comfort level, compared to the Santa Fe, I think that these seats are a bit more stiff. They're not as soft as the ones that we tested before, but they do fit me better. I mean, they're not hard seats, but they're not as soft as the Santa Fe. So this is as low as they go. If you're a very tall person, you might feel that the seats are a bit too high up. In terms of the aesthetics as well, you have the chrome detailing that goes all the way from the center fascia out into the door trim as well. And in between the chrome detailing, you have the air vents. And they have a completely new HVAC system in the new Tucson as well, which they're also boasting about. We'll have to test that out on the road. And then up here you have the 10.25-inch digital navigation. It's all done on touch. It doesn't look that big, but then again, I think it's just enough with the 10.25. So now when you're shifting gears, you also have the system in which you have the same one as the Palisade. This is the shift-by-wire, the SBW system that you have. Once you get used to it, I think it's much more easier to navigate. I'm so used to the gear knob, but once you actually use this, I'm sure that it's easier for it to drive. Let's try how many of these we can store. Inside the center console, it's quite deep actually. It's not wide, but it is deep so that we can put in more than 4, I think. Maybe about 5 of these, about 500 mil. And I like it because it's not protruding. It doesn't come up too high. It's just a right height for everything. Overall, I'm very impressed with the interior design. One thing though, here, the center tunnel is not open. I would have guessed that it would be open just like the new Santa Fe because you get more storage space down here. But here you have this part blocked. Really, the back seats have become a lot more roomier. As I mentioned, the wheelbase has become longer by 85 millimeters, but out of those 85 millimeters, 80 millimeters has been allocated to the back seat. You see where the extra space has gone. The short wheelbase maybe doesn't have that much of a difference compared to the previous generation Tucson. As for the seats, you also have the perforated seats at the back. And they can fold up like this, and then you can fold them back all the way back to about here. If you just want to lay back in the second row of your seats, you can also do that because it's quite comfortable ride. You have so much room for your legroom. And you also have a really good angle for the back incline. So if you do want to take a rest in the back seat of your car, it's also a great option. But I did really like the Santa Fe in which they had a really low center tunnel. You almost didn't even see the center tunnel at all. But this one, compared to the Santa Fe, you do have a little bit of the center tunnels. It might be a little bit uncomfortable for longer rides, but then again, compared to the previous version, it's not so bad. One really good feature about the new Tucson 2 is that it has the panoramic sunroof, which extends all the way to the back. It'll almost be like you're in an open car, so in a cabriolet, almost. You have the 2 HVAC air vents here in the middle. And even with the back seats, you have both back seats with the heated. And you also have 2 USB outlets for the back seats as well. The armrest looks a little bit flimsy to me, but nevertheless, you have the 2 cup holders in the armrest. It does shake a little though. So guys, what did you think of the 4th generation Tucson? Personally, I thought it was really impressive, especially because it's a remodel after 5 years. So this car has a completely new platform, the 3rd generation N3 platform, which is the same as the new Santa Fe. So this model comes in the gasoline, the diesel, and the hybrid, but the hybrid you'll have to stay tuned because it will be launched in a couple of months. If you have any comments or questions, please post them down below, and remember to hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.